As devastating as it was to see JuJu Watkins go down, there's been an overwhelming show of support since. So many people have weighed in, sending their thoughts to Watkins, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, amongst others. The latest being UConn. And Geno Auriemma got up on the podium and spoke. Paige Bueckers, AZ Fudd. Geno Auriemma just expressed how badly he felt for JuJu. And, he related in the sense that he had players go through that, notably Bueckers and Fudd. He also remarked the effect that it has on the tournament is huge from a competitive standpoint, star power, but that he thinks USC will rise to the occasion. It was a blow to the star power of the NCAA tournament, no question. We won't get the Paige Bueckers and JuJu Watkins showdown, but of course, all of that is secondary to JuJu coming back better than ever. Meanwhile, Paige and AZ also took the podium to speak about it. And here is what Paige Bueckers had to say in regards to the situation. Paige, of course, went through the ACL tear just as AZ Fudd did.
That first week, what do you remember from just that experience, kind of coming to terms with things? And after that, when you look back on your recoveries, what was the key thing to remember to really get you through that tough time?
The first week was devastation, a sense of just hurt, disappointment, a why me sort of mentality, why now? A lot of questions that you have that are going to go unanswered. But then your motivation, your strength, your faith, peace kicks in of everything happens for a reason. And then surgery happens. And then you know that every single day that passes by is a day closer to you getting to play basketball again. So for JuJu, your heart breaks for just the devastation that, especially during the tournament, of not being able to be out there with your team during the most important part of the year. So I know, especially, we empathize for her. We've been there, and we know how much it sucks. But you don't get to be as good as JuJu if you don't have a great motor, a great work ethic, and she's going to attack this process just as she's attacked basketball, and just as she's great at basketball, she's going to be great at this recovery process. So just disappointed for her, but no, she'll be back better than ever, and this will just be a little setback to the great story she'll have.
Which is almost certainly going to be the case. Now, there was a little bit of a Paige Bueckers update today, I guess, if you will. I wouldn't really call it an update, more a confirmation. But nonetheless, Rebecca Lobo put it out that Paige Bueckers will indeed declare for the WNBA draft, that she confirmed that. She said a million times this was her last season at UConn. The only reason she wouldn't declare for the draft is if she was trying to avoid Dallas. But I think that whole story has gotten a little out of the barn and, astray at this point. We'll reel it back in until there's any real information indicating anything like that is going to be the case. I actually, on the JuJu bit, spoke to an injury expert at the Hospital of Special Surgery in New York who did tend to lean toward the idea of JuJu Watkins redshirting next season. To make sure she's fully recovered, said that it was a classic non-contact deal, so nothing involving the Mississippi State players, and that there was a chance that overcompensation played a role because, of course, JuJu had the ankle injury in the game prior and then wound up, perhaps favoring the other leg. That was what was, not that you can pinpoint that, but that it could be a contributing factor. You can read that link in the description. But nonetheless, UConn does move on in the NCAA tournament. They have more games to play. They've got Oklahoma up next. But before they play that game, Geno Auriemma did lament the structure of the tournament a little bit and how he doesn't like the way it is set up with these regionals and the travel that comes from it.
Going ahead to next week, the two winners of this regional will have a cross-country trip to Tampa. Just what is your thoughts on that quick turnaround on top of the cross-country trip?
In a normal world, run by normal people, there would only be 4 teams here, which means there would be no games today. The games would be tomorrow, which means we wouldn't have to get up at 6 a.m. to have a 8 o'clock practice here this morning for an hour, which means we wouldn't have to get up at 5 a.m. to have a 7:30 shoot around for half an hour take us longer to get through security than to actually be on the court. God bless whoever wins Monday night, okay? And they've got to fly cross country, which is all day Tuesday. Then they have 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday, to play the biggest game of their life. The guys who don't know shit about it, according to a lot of women's basketball people, they finish Sunday, then they have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and they play Saturday. But there's a lot of people in the women's basketball committee that think they're smarter than that. So whoever came up with this super regional stuff, and I know who they are, ruined the game. They did. They ruined the game. Half the country has no chance to get to a game in person. But you're making billions off of TV. Well, actually, you're not. That would be the men's tournament. So, yeah, there's a lot of issues that they need to fix. And again, we could get our ass beat tomorrow, and that won't change my feelings.
So some strong words from Geno Auriemma there. But speaking of that meeting with Oklahoma tomorrow, the Sooners feel like they're prepped. They feel like they're ready to go, considering the schedule they played in the SEC. You can see what Peyton had to say here. UConn on SNY.
You look at UConn and they've been a dominant program for years, and they still are. I think just looking at Paige Bueckers, obviously she's a great player. I do think that the SEC has gotten us ready for really good guards. I mean, you look at Georgia Amore, and I mean, we got to play Kentucky twice. So I think just learning from things like that will definitely benefit us in this game.
So UConn fans are apparently taking those comments the wrong way because UConn is very talented and Paige Bueckers is very good. Seemed like a reasonable take from her there. Just talking about, you know, the schedule that they've played, that this isn't the first time they're seeing really good players on the other side of the court. But nonetheless, a lot came from Media Day today in the NCAA tournament, as we are at the Sweet 16. Obviously, UConn and Oklahoma meet for a chance to go to the Elite Eight, and then eventually the Final Four, and that travel schedule that Geno Auriemma was not so fond of, as you could hear him say there. So that's where we stand. But of course, it does come with the, you know, dark cloud that is the injury to JuJu Watkins, because that did take some air out of the NCAA tournament overall. But nonetheless, the games will still be played. She will return to the court eventually, and there will be an NCAA champion crowned in short order. We'll see if it is indeed Paige, Geno, and UConn.